Welcome back to the weekend preview. We're going to shift our attention now from the title race to the opposite end of the table, because it could be a really interesting weekend for those relegation-threatened clubs, with some key fixtures coming up in match week 32. Saturday sees Everton host Manchester United at Goodison Park before Watford and Leeds meet at Vicarage Road. Then on Sunday, two of the bottom three play each other as Norwich face Burnley at Carrow Road. And a quick reminder of how the table looks ahead of those matches. Burnley's win over Everton on Wednesday put Sean Dyche's side a point away from safety and cranked up the pressure on Frank Lampard. Watford and Norwich will feel like they have to win this weekend pretty much, as they're playing at home against teams around them in the table. So let's focus on the Everton match first of all at Goodison Park, as Frank Lampard's side take on Manchester United. That defeat at Turf Moor on Wednesday, Tim, how damaging was it for Frank Lampard?
Oh, very. I mean, it's just clawed them back in. I mean, Burnley are a team who can catch them. Certainly now they think they are. They go to Norwich at the weekend, Burnley, with some added confidence, knowing that they can actually win in the Premier League. Got a group of players who are cut out for the fight at the bottom of the league, whereas Frank Lampard's got a group of players who think they should be in Europa League, and they're nowhere near it. Yeah, it was a really, really damaging defeat, this one. I think they got gifted the first penalty, and quite right, he was the second one. But when you're making mistakes like that, Godfrey there and Cornet finishes it. Huge 3 points for Burnley, and not only the points, but the momentum takes them into that game against rock bottom of the league, Norwich. You know, they've still got to go there and win. I think Norwich are out of it. I think they're already gone. You'd have to say Watford need to beat Leeds at Vicarage Road. They're capable of doing that. I think they play a nice open style where they can counter-attack Leeds. But it's up for grabs. I mean, Frank Lampard, don't know what he's walked into there. I mean, they certainly, in my opinion, have not got a relegation squad. They've certainly not got a squad where their fans want to be. But to be in a relegation battle with that group of players, no, not for me. He's not getting the best out of them.
How worried are you for Frank Lampard's side?
Massive. Hugely worried. I mean, they're so bad defensively. Every time the ball goes in their final third, if I was an Everton fan, it would scare the life out of me. One, because of the goalkeeper gives me no confidence. There's a mistake wherever I look in the back four when the ball goes into the box. I mean, you look at the Burnley winner, the goal. You've got a few minutes left. You've got Pickford, who runs out like a lunatic, kicks the ball wherever, out for the throw-in. Then you've got defenders who are letting them take a quick throw-in, then not pressing the ball, letting the cross come in. Then another mistake from Godfrey. I mean, when you look back at Les Pickford, I mean, if that ball goes upfield, they come away from there with a point. So there's the first error. Look, second error is, look, what's the reaction or lack of it from this quick throw-in? No one closing him down. Look, put the ball in the box. It's quite easy. And then that from Godfrey. I mean, goodness me. I think Frank Lampard does know what he's walked into, and it's an absolute mess from top to bottom. And they're in serious danger of being relegated. And
the pressure on Frank Lampard now as well. There were talks after the game about his future at Everton. Let's hear from the boss now.
In my relatively short managerial career, I probably spent 18 months at Chelsea with the same. You know, 18 months, you're probably 2 games from the sack, regardless of you. Yeah, maybe two, three, whatever, games from the sack. But maybe that's a symptom of football in the Premier League. It's pressure. That's fine. You sign up for that. I've got no problem with that. And even if you're, FA Cup final, mate, top 4 or whatever, you still know the rules. So I've got no problem with that in terms of speculation. We're a huge club. People want to talk about it. In football terms, I don't think people should talk about us being any different to the other teams in the battle that we're in. We've got no right to not be fighting a battle of relegation, irrespective of history. But what I am is proud to manage here, proud to keep the history of this club going in a positive way. And so I absolutely don't waste my time. I don't buy into doing my job.
Well, it's not gone well so far. Just 2 wins from the 9 matches he's been in charge of Everton. That's 6 points from a possible 27. I think it's interesting to pick up on what he mentioned there about it shouldn't be any different for Everton. Everyone's got the possibility of being in a relegation battle there. But when you look at those players, Tim, do they have what it takes to stay up mentally?
Like I said, the recruitment Marcel Brands was there as sporting director. He's made, I don't know where he is now. He's probably hiding under a rock somewhere because some of the players, what they signed at that football club, are just not good enough. They've changed their managers far too often. There's not a playing identity, nothing what the fans want to relate to there, certainly. But it's not about that now. It's about just getting points on the board and staying in the league for next year and then decide what they want to do moving forward. No structure to the football club. Ad hoc, scattergun approach regarding the recruitment. I mean, Alan talked about the centre backs there. They need a centre back, in the window. They haven't even tried to get a centre back. They signed Dele Alli for £40 million, and he hasn't even put his pads on yet. I mean, it's incredible. Donny van der Beek gets injured. They're not what they need. When I look through that group of players, you've got the likes of Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. The boy Gordon's been there, shining light. Decore, they haven't got bad players, but they're not conditioned to fight at the bottom of the league. They don't look like they want to roll up their sleeves and do it. I think the goalkeeper's an England international. You've got Godfrey, who they bought from Norwich, who's making mistakes like that. The boy Keane, who's waiting to happen every time the ball comes into the box, he makes a huge mistake, gets himself sent off unnecessarily. So they're not, like I say, they're not used to it. Whereas Sean Dyche's group, they're brought in to fight relegation every single year, so they know exactly what it takes, and they will not get flustered. Now, Frank's saying it's not right to talk about his club differently. Well, we are talking about it differently because you spent a huge amount of money, not necessarily just Frank, but down the last few managers. They spent an awful lot of money. They're a huge football club. We've been there and played there. It's a fantastic arena to play in, a magnificent fan base. It's a mess at the moment. It's an absolute mess. And he needs to find a way, he needs to stick to a style of playing and find a way to get the ball to them strikers who are without doubt a threat, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, to score enough goals, but you need to be solid at the back. And at the moment, they're leaking so much going that way, have no confidence to throw their bodies forward.
I just wonder whether that game against Manchester United at home might be decent timing to play Man United. I mean, Man United they wouldn't scare anyone, to be honest, the way they're playing. They look very timid, the way they are, in terms of the way the club has been run, similar way to Everton. There's been a lot of money wasted, no leadership really from above. So I just wonder whether that might be the right game at the right time for Everton, because their fans will be rocking. I think they'll give them the support that they need, and if they can get off to a good start in that game, then it might just be what they need.
Is the fear for Everton now that momentum for Burnley by picking up that victory, which was so huge at Turf Moor, that's going to now carry Burnley out of the bottom three and put Everton in it? Because Burnley have got an opportunity this weekend. They're facing Norwich.
Yeah, and they will go there, like Tim said, they will go there with the momentum, with the confidence, saying we're going to smash them like we smashed Everton, and we're going to get 3 more points, and we're going to be above Everton at the end of the weekend, which is very, very possible as well. I think Lampard has to take some responsibility for the bad run of form. I mean, I think when Benitez was sacked, they were 5 points clear of the bottom 3. They were not great, but it was not that bad. I mean, 7 defeats. The fact that they could not even draw a single game. I mean, the one against Everton, Ali's right. You should never concede that 3rd goal. But even before that, they had games where they could have said, you know what, let's just take a point here. And they could not even do that. They've got no awareness. They've got no organisation. They've got nothing. And if you compare with Eddie Howe arriving at Newcastle, let's say in a similar position kind of thing, he made their defence solid. And to go back to Tim's point about the transfer window in January, where Eddie Howe said, OK, we need a centre-back because the ones we have, go and get Dan Burns. It costs a bit of money, but he's better than what we have. Go and get Trippier because he's better than what we have. And OK, they lost Trippier to injury, but instead you go to get Van der Beek and Dele Alli? Really? I mean, I think even Frank, even despite arriving in a tough situation already, did a lot of things wrong since he'd been there.
But even the 2 signings before Frank went in there, and Mikalenko and who's the other one?
Patterson?
Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson, yeah.
The two players that went in there before Frank, I mean, the previous manager signs him, then he gets sacked. I mean, it just sums the football club up where it is at this moment in time, and where it's been for a while, because it's not Frank's fault they're in this position now. They're in this position now because of mismanagement over a long period of time. The money that football club have wasted has been staggering. I mean, how not to run a football club is, look at Everton in previous years. It's incredible.
It's £500 million.
Yeah.
£500 million for a team like this.
And you look at Ancelotti and him moving on, he wasn't able to take Everton to where they wanted to be, and now look what he's doing in La Liga.
Yeah, of course.
We talked about games in hand for Everton, and it's kind of been used as a little bit of an excuse for quite some time. Oh, but they've got games in hand. That's why they are where they are. Well, those games in hand are running out, Tim.
Yeah, well, when they run out, that's the problem. You know, we talked about at the top of the league when Jurgen had that belief. They were chasing Man City. Oh, we'll win them games in hand. Frank knew that it was going to be difficult to win any football match at that. Again, he's looking at the group every single day in training. He's thinking, where are we going to pick up points here? From the outside, it's easy for me to look at the quality of what they have in forward areas, but I could also look at how poor they are defensively, and Frank's seeing that every day for himself. But I think he's making some strange decisions regarding like Holgate playing in midfield when you've got midfield players who are capable of playing. For me, Fabian Delph needs to come back into that squad. I had him at Aston Villa. And he will do a job for you. But look, I mean, the remaining fixtures, it's hard. You know, like none of these teams really. I mean, certainly Everton, they would look at that as a group of players and think, where are we going to get a point from there? Certainly with the next 3 or 4 games. I mean, incredible. 5 games even down to Leicester. Man United, Alan's absolutely right. Might just be the turning point they need. You know, at home, get a lift. No one likes playing Man United. I mean, the fans, everyone wants to beat the biggest sides, and Man United are still, you know, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So you get them come to town, you want to lift your game. You know, Leicester at home, Liverpool away, and let Chelsea, you can't see them getting anything out of that. I think Leeds are going to be able to scrape another win, and that might just be enough. But Watford, they're just a little bit unknown at the moment. I think when they get Saar back, looks like he's back now. You know, I think they've got perhaps the firepower and the nous with the manager to play a nice defensive way and counter-attack some sides and maybe get some points. Will they have enough? I wouldn't be holding my breath whether they stay in the league or not. I think 2 of my old teams, Norwich and Watford, will go. And I think Burnley will get out of it, and it'll be Everton who might drop. But I think this weekend will be huge. They have to back up that 3 points against Everton with a win at Norwich, Burnley. And if they do that and jump above them now with that run of games coming up, I think they could be in deep water, Everton.
Well, Watford and Leeds face each other, Alan, this weekend. Is this Watford's last opportunity to keep themselves in a little bit of a fight? If they lose this game, is that it for them?
Yeah, I think so. I saw Watford last weekend, and they were pretty impressive, to be honest, at Liverpool. Yeah. They just lacked the quality up top in that final position. They missed a sitter at 0-0. They missed a big chance when they were being beaten 1-0 in the second half, and then of course it was inevitable that Liverpool went and got that second goal, albeit a penalty. But they made it tough. But again, that's not enough. You need to go out and you need to get points, whether that's 1 point in one game, and that'll give you that. That's what I said about Everton. They come away from Burnley with a point. You think, OK, not a bad result. Not ideal, but not bad. We come away with something. And that's what Watford have to do somewhere to try and get their season going. Otherwise, it's going to be too late. I think if they're beaten tomorrow, then, yeah, that's them done.
OK, just a bit of time to take a look at the top of the table in terms of the fight for the top 4, because we've mentioned Manchester United. Alan thinks that there's a potential Everton could get something against them this weekend. So how do you see the fight for top 4 shaping up, Tim, with the 2 North London clubs equal on points heading into the weekend?
Yeah, well, Tottenham are in great form at the moment. And when you've got the likes of Son and Kane, I think you're capable of winning any football match. You know, keep them fit. I think call him Alan. Harry Kane is so important to him, as Alan was for us. I think if they keep him fit, he can do it on his own. I think they're a one-man side. To get the ball to him, Son has been magnificent up there as well. So at the moment, I would have to say that they're favourites to take 4th. Who would I like to manage? Which group of players? I'd take Man United right now. Oh. I think that if he does not get them in the top 4, Ralph Rangnick is an absolute disaster. Well, that group of players not to finish in the top 4 against a competition, he's had a disaster. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have stayed there, they would have finished in 4th place. They would have been no worse.
You think they're a better team than Tottenham, do you?
Yeah, I think they've got better players. I
think
they're
really?
not
a balanced squad.
He has not got the best out of this group.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't see a playing style. I see world-class game changers there. Ronaldo has to play. Whether he's for the long term or not, whether your team's better without him, they certainly showed they're not. When he doesn't play, they do not win. He turns up in the big occasions. Ronaldo, you got Bruno, Paul Pogba. You got match winners there. You know, match winners. Varane, goalkeeper, world class. They've got too many world class players not to be in the Champions League.
He's not having it.
No. But the group, they're not showing it because the manager's not good enough. He's not doing the job. He's not doing the job what he should do. Them players are better than what they're showing. At the moment, I don't see anything. I don't see no change from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to him. I see worse, actually. I see a decline.
I think, again, I go back to the leadership from the top in that football club, and they've been on the decline for a while now. Players' contracts have been allowed to get to where they go, and then they control the situation in terms of Pogba. How much do you think that players have put their neck on the line? I know that they might need a bit of guidance here, there, but players look to the top to be guided, and that football club has been floating along for some time without any serious intent, in my opinion. And I would take Tottenham's squad over Man United's any day because of the front three. Kulusevski, Son and Kane. You said it. You've got those three up front. You get the rest of them organised. Make them tough to beat. Those three will win your games every single week, as they did against Newcastle last weekend.
Antonio Conte went to Man United. Man United finished fourth.
I agree with you.
No, absolutely.
It's the unity of your dressing room as well. Spurs have a very united dressing room. Arsenal have a very united dressing room. United, this is not the case. And in Conte and Arteta, they've got a proper leader guiding them. Whether he finished fourth or not, Rangnick doesn't do that. And Rangnick was always a interim manager anyway. And dressing room and players don't take that seriously. No.
Who gets fourth place for you?
Right now, I agree with Tim. It has to be Spurs have to be the favourite. They've got an easier run-in than Arsenal. And the derby at the Tottenham Stadium will be the key.
Well, the same reason as I said Liverpool, I'm going to go Tottenham because of their front three. Okay. They're frightening in front of goal, and the way they play, the way they're scoring goals, the way those three of them, and he's added to that, Kulusevski. He's given them we talk about Kane and Son. He's given them a different angle to that. So for that reason, and it would be slightly worrying the way Arsenal were beaten against Palace. So Tottenham for me to get fourth.
Good stuff. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. What a weekend we've got to look forward to in the Premier League. Manchester City against Liverpool on Sunday, but the football starts very shortly. Newcastle kick the weekend off in around 90 minutes' time. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.